What does a composer look like? What constitutes genius? And who decides which masterpieces enter the canon of classical music? Super psyched to finish my first ever complete game! Coming out very soon, you'll be able to play it on Classical Remix's website and on my itch.io. I'll put links in the description when everything is set loose into the world. I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you how I make basic animations in Unity, because look at this little guy, isn't he cute? First thing you'll need are your visual assets, or art, as it's otherwise known. To animate this fly, I'm separating it into two parts: the body, which will stay at full opacity and will not move, and the wings, which will be at a lower opacity and will move. I made a symmetrical line drawing of a fly in a digital art program, printed it out, traced and transferred the body and wings onto separate pieces of paper, painted them using acrylic paint, then scanned them into my computer and made the backgrounds transparent using another digital art program. I'd advise you to probably also scale both pictures down by the same degree, because these are high definition images with a lot of pixels, and that's very demanding on your CPU to have to animate. If they're smaller and made of fewer pixels, your computer is less likely to chug, especially if there are lots of animations on the screen at the same time. Now, we want the wings to flap, so we're going to make two new frames to achieve this effect. I'm going to take that initial image of the wings, rotate each wing outwards, making sure to keep that distance between the wing shoulders? Do flies have shoulders? Anyway, keep that distance the same, and I'm going to make one frame with the wings stretched to the halfway point, and then a pair that are fully outstretched. Now we've got all the artwork we need, and we can go into Unity. So, make a new project. You might as well choose the 2D template. As you can see, the project starts out with a scene, which is like a level where you put all your stuff, and an orthographic camera, as opposed to a perspective camera, but don't worry too much about that for the moment. An orthographic camera is fine for a 2D project. You can see here that we can choose the colour of the background that the viewer will see here in the final frame, so I'm going to change this from blue to black. Next, we're going to go down to the project window and we're going to go into the assets folder. Here we're going to make another folder called Sprites, because you want to keep things nice and organised. Then we're going to double click to go into this folder and then right click with our mouse and select Import New Asset. Then we go and find our lovely artwork files and import them. Now, we're going to drag the sprite to the hierarchy, which is where all the objects in the scene are kept. If we click on it in the hierarchy, details about the object and anything attached to it will come up in the inspector window. We're going to have a look at its transform, which tells us where the object is and how big it is. We want our sprite to be in the middle of the scene, so we're going to set its position to x equals 0, y equals 0, and z equals 0, which you can either type in manually or you can click on these three little dots here in the corner and press reset. We also notice that this sprite is way too big. Like I said, you'd do well to scale the picture down in the art program beforehand. So we're gonna give it smaller X and Y scale values. No need to bother with Z, that's the third dimension in Unity, and this is a 2D sprite, so we don't need to think about it. Now for the wings, we're gonna drag our first frame into the hierarchy, give it the same scale values as the main body, do any shifting we need to do, and hooray, we've got some wings. They're not appearing above the body yet though, so we're gonna make sure the wings are selected, go to their sprite renderer and put them in layer 1. Now they will appear above the body, which by default is in layer 0. This makes a lot more visual sense, but there's still this unconvincing bright colour. So we're going to click on the colour element of the sprite renderer and we're going to slide the A value, the alpha value, until they look more like translucent wings. About there. Lovely. Now we want to animate these wings, so first off we're going to keep being nice and organised. We're going to go back inside our assets folder and create another folder called animators and controllers. Then we're going to select our wings in the hierarchy again, and we're going to add the animator component, not the animation component, the animator component. Then we're going to go to the animation window, not the animator window, the animation window. Yes, this is definitely confusing, it's not just you. And we're going to click create. Now we want to find our animators and controllers folder, and we're going to put our new animation clip here and give it a name. I'm going to call it Fly Wings. Now we get a little space we can drag and drop our frames into, and if you press this little arrow we get a little drop down of each frame so we can see what we're doing. You can preview what the animation looks like if we press this play button. We can select and drag our frames so they can be closer together or further apart. I don't want these wings to flap constantly because Fly's wings are very quick and that'll be harsh on the computer and on our eyes, so I'm going to have a little sequence of them going from rest to halfway open to halfway to rest, repeating that wave a few times before having the wings be at a rest position before the loop starts again. All animations loop by default. And there you go! That's a very simple animation in Unity! Do go and check out Beethoven Simulator once it's out. I'd love to know what your experience of it is like so I can improve upon what I'm doing. It's a very simple game, you don't need any intense gaming experience or manual skill to play it, just a keyboard and an internet connection. Have a look at my Bandcamp, my itch.io page, become a patron if you can afford it, and above all, stay safe, stay well, and see you next time!